Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie and I'm back again today with another video. First off, I want to start my video by thanking everybody who has watched my videos recently, who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, who have liked my videos, and also who have left comments on my videos. They make me feel really good. They motivate me to keep making more videos for you guys about my journey to PA school, what I did. So thank you very much. I'm very grateful for all those comments, those likes, and also those subscriptions to my channel. Thank you very much. And like I said in my previous videos, if you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to comment below. Also, if anything, you can also send me an email and I'll respond as quick as I can. I'll leave my email down below in the description. So today I'm going to be talking about the GRE. I'll be talking about basically what I scored on the GRE. I actually got lower than the national average for GRE, which is overall 150, so I did get lower than that, but I was still able to get into PA school. I will also talk about what materials I used to study for the GRE, and then also what study methods I used. And if you're interested, just keep watching. Thanks, and talk to you soon. So I decided to apply to PA school again. My GRE score may have been one of the components why I didn't get into PA school the first time I applied, because it was very low. So I decided to retake it again the second time. I did study more. The second time I actually studied for about a month, but it was also on and off. I didn't focus completely when studying for the GRE. I would study for about 2 hours or 3 hours, and then after that I would skip a few days and study again. But I just had a lot of stuff going on during the summer. I was doing research again, so my research job was full-time, and then on top of that I was working 2 jobs and also trying to complete my CASPA application. So it was pretty difficult to make time for that, which I regret and I do not recommend to anybody. I recommend to study as much as you can for the GRE. The second time that I applied, I got a score of 148, so I didn't increase that much. I went from a 146 to a 148 overall, and I got the same thing in writing, which was 4.0. So it was very demotivating. I also took it really late. I took it in August, which is something I do not recommend. So I had to wait a few weeks for my scores to come in for me to be able to submit my application. So this is why I recommend for individuals is to take the GRE score, of course, before the CASPA application opens, or in May. That way you have everything ready, because it takes a few weeks for your GRE score to be sent to the recipients, and not only that, it also takes a few weeks for you to receive your GRE score. So can you imagine? It took about 2 weeks for me to get my GRE score, and then on top of that, once I got my GRE score, I had to send it to the recipients, to the schools that required the GRE. I had to send it to them, and it took another 2 weeks. So it took 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks in total, to get the GRE score sent to the schools. So that's why I recommend you once again to take the GRE score, pretty early in the CASPA application. That way your application is complete. Although some schools do look at your application, your CASPA application, but the majority of them won't take it into full consideration until it's complete, and that means your GRE score also. On another note, with my low GRE score, I was able to get into PA school. So if you do have a low GRE score like I do, like I said, schools look at you as an overall candidate. So they don't only look at your GRE score, your GPA. They also look at you overall, why you want to become a PA, your patient care experience hour, your healthcare experience hours. So they look at you overall. So if you have a low GRE score, retake it if you can. If you can't, then apply. And that's what I did. I could have retaken it, but I had to wait a few more days. And then, it probably would have been 2 months later, August, which would have been probably November, and that would have been really late to apply. So I still decided to apply, and look, I got accepted into PA school, so that's really good. So like I said, if you do have a low GRE score, don't sweat it. Still apply to PA school, because they look at you overall as a candidate. And this is just my experience. Other individuals may have other point of views, but I had a really strong desire to get into PA school. I should have probably studied more for the GRE, which I regret. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but some of the study materials that I did use and I highly recommend is Magoosh. It's www.magoosh.com. I think it was around $100, and that's for 3 months. So it's like a 90-day trial. And I really liked and I really recommend Magoosh because the majority of the questions that were on Magoosh were similar to the GRE. And I studied, basically, it'll give you study materials, also a study plan, what to study specifically. If you want to study within 30 days, it'll tell you how to study, how many hours you have to study per day, what materials you have to study. If you have a little bit more time, more than 30 days, say you have 60 days or 90 days, it'll also break that down for you. So this is what I really like. That's what I used. Although I didn't really adhere to it, I wish I would have. It's something that I really recommend, Magoosh, for sure. It has a lot of videos. For some reason, whenever I read, I learn, but I feel like I learn better visually. So videos for me really helped me. And Magoosh has those. It has videos for the reading, comprehension, the writing also, and the mathematics, which is what I scored really low in. One of my weaknesses, which was the mathematics portion. So this is what I used. Also, another thing that I did use, and this is actually free, is I really love listening to podcasts. So if you have Androids, an iPhone, Apple, etc., I really, really recommend. So the podcast I really recommend is called Victor Prep GRE. That's VICTOR, like victory, and then Prep GRE. It's a free podcast. I think they have about 70 episodes, and he does a really good job, the individual who produces a podcast, because he goes through majority of words that are going to be on the GRE vocabulary, and he'll define each word and also pronounce them for you. So this is what I listened on my way to school, since I would drive about 40 minutes to school. So it was about probably almost two hours, from school and then on the way back, especially during traffic time. So during those drives, I try to study, through audio as much as I could. So I downloaded this podcast and it really helped me. He goes through, like I said, several words, and the majority of the words that I was able to learn were actually on the GRE. So I do recommend this podcast. It's called Victor Prep. It's a free podcast. He has a lot of episodes, and he goes through several words that are going to be on the GRE. And I think it's really good because you're driving and you're listening to the word. And what I did is that once I did finish all 70 episodes, I think he has more now, I would listen to them again and again and again and again. That way they stuck on me. So when I was studying for the GRE using the Magoosh, some of these words would pop up and I already knew what they were since I had already heard them previously. So it's something I really recommend. So overall, try to score as high as you can, of course, on the GRE. I did apply, since my GRE score was pretty low, I did apply to schools that did not require the GRE score. There's some schools that do not require the GRE, so if you do score really low GRE, you can still apply to PA school, but you can also look for schools that do not require the GRE, which is what I did. And I actually got 3 interviews from those schools that did not require the GRE, so that was good. And interestingly, I got accepted to the school that did require the GRE, and they overlooked it, and I was still able to get accepted into PA school. So this is just my experience. If you have any questions or any concerns or any comments, like I said, just feel free to comment below. And once again, thank you so much for watching my videos. I do this for you guys because I really want individuals who want to become PAs, who were in my shoes previously, to be successful and get accepted into PA. If you don't get in the first time, apply the second time. If your GRE score is low and you still have enough time to retake the exam, then, go for it. But if you don't, like I did, that I took it really late in the game, that I do not recommend, I would still apply to PA school. If your application looks good, if you have high healthcare experience hours, your GPA is pretty high, etc., still apply to PA school. That was just my circumstances, is that I got a low GRE, way lower, and I was still able to get into PA school. But that was just my experience, my circumstances. But I was still able to get into PA school with a low GRE score. So if you do have a low GRE score, don't be afraid to apply to PA school. I can't stress it enough. Apply to PA school. If you don't get in the first time, if your weakness was your GRE score, apply again. Retake the GRE score. Just don't lose that motivation. Don't lose that focus. It's something I tell my sister, and it's something I tell my friends, is to keep applying. Don't lose that focus, that motivation. If you're lacking, on healthcare experience hours, make that up, or add more healthcare experience hours. Always keep adding to your application, always. But yeah, thank you once again for watching my videos, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.